Trustee Bluthart. Trustee McNeil. Here. Trustee Martinez.
Here.
Trustee Pierce is absent. Trustee Peterson is absent. Mayor Gertner.
I'm present. All right, so couple things. Mayoral report. Just briefly, we had the Lake County Partners Breakfast the other day. Large event, good attendance. Thank you for attending to those who were there. We also had the State of Antioch address earlier today. Again, thank you to those that attended. Probably still getting your sodium level down from the lunch, and it was yeah, it was well attended. 70 people got to listen to what's going on. On the budget overview, we have, as you know, a 2.3% overall increase, or about $28 a year for the average home. 8.5% of the overall tax bill. If you don't know this yet, the tax bills came out last night, so they're on their way. If you you can probably look at it on your phone right now if you want to see what it looks like. $14 million in capital improvements with no additional debt, including the 1.46 in new roads and sidewalks and the public works facility finishing up. 7.6 million investment in water and sewer infrastructure for safe drinking water and reliable sewer services. The general operating fund is flat, so no increase in the general fund, but continued investment in the human capital, notably initiatives to help attract and retain police officers. So we have adequate staffing levels there. We are working, as you know, as a board, reducing the building permit fees and to streamline that application process. Continuation of free village-sponsored special events and community-wide programs, the small town smokeout, wine walks, etc. Furthering in the downtown beautification efforts, including the 250th Anniversary of America celebration, also the facade rebate program, and emphasis on intergovernmental cooperation. Andrew's going to review the budget changes since last time and capital items as we go through. Is that correct? Okay. So any citizens wishing to address the board? All right. Thank you for coming here tonight. This is the night that everybody should be here listening to us, right? All right. So regular business. The first item is consideration and approval of the proposed budget for fiscal year May 1st, 2026 to April 30th, 2027. Do I have a motion and a second? Motion, Trustee Bluthart. Second, Trustee Martinez. Andrew, I'll let you take it from there.
Okay. So I wanted to pick up from where we left off a week ago, and I'll plan to just summarize the changes, go through the capital equipment, vehicle equipment, and water and sewer. That's all we had left that we didn't cover last time. I'm going to provide a high-level overview of those items, but staff is here. We're available to go into as much detail as you guys would like, but I'll start with the higher level. So first, in terms of budget changes from a week ago, we reduced the budget by $1.6 million. It's mostly due to capital improvement plans and items that were either deferred or completely cut. And so to summarize that, it was a reduction of $328,000 for the parks capital improvements related to really reductions were from better pricing and better quotes that we have received. So we're able to reduce some of the estimates related to air conditioners, landscaping, parking lot improvements, and things of that nature. We did defer the improvement at the Osmond Park with the playground. I will just note, because Trustee Pierce isn't here, that he did reach out and he would like to see that restored. That was $125,000 for the playground. But at this presentation and as presented, the park has been eliminated from the capital plan. And there was some changes to the aquatic center. We don't need to purchase a sand filter this year. It turns out we can postpone that. We're just replacing the sand this year, and then that'll buy us a little more time till we actually replace the filter itself. Information technology was reduced by $18,000 related to equipment. And so this one, happy to open it up to the board's discussion, but we did reduce the iPads and the related agenda management software and then an email signature. And so I've spoken with all of you individually about that. I mean, I do think it's a nice thing if we can implement the iPads. We do want to eliminate the cell phone services. They're just not really being utilized, as we've all spoken about. But it also isn't the most compelling thing. The system works. So if you all really want it, we can do it. But we weren't really feeling that it was compelled to move in that direction. So that's been reduced. The early retirement incentive, the ERI, that the village has in place. We're able to restructure those payments. And so that reduced the monthly expense, and then that became an annual reduction of $204,000. Now, we can decide at a later date if we do a loan around the ERI, but right now we're paying it off, we're eliminating a 7% interest payment, and we can decide later if we wish to incur debt, but we know we can get a better rate than the 7% that the IMRF was providing to us. And then 2 capital improvements here, the Tough parking lot. We know that parking lot needs to be redone, but given that we're in the middle of a TIF feasibility study that includes that area and having active conversations with developers, we figured let's not budget and go run out and do the parking lot. Let's see if it is actually in a TIF district, and potentially developers can partner with us for something larger there. So we would like to delay that 1 year. And then the Metro parking lot is just a similar, deferring that. We have other developments here on Skidmore Avenue that are in the capital plan. It makes sense to really couple those things together and then do a large enough parking lot improvement where we can get economies of scale. So those reductions totaled $1,687,000. That's a change from the week prior. Okay, so if we're okay with those reductions, then what I'd like to do is just cover the highlights of the capital, the vehicle equipment, water, and sewer funds. And so most of these items will be familiar to you. And so maybe the high level summary will suffice. But in capital fund overview, a couple of things to note. We have $100,000 for a Route 173 grade separation feasibility study. This is the mayor and staff have met with CMAP. And if we want to ever have a grade separation at Route 173, maybe a decade or 2 from now, the first step is to begin a feasibility study. So we've budgeted for that. That's about $100,000 based on what others have paid for similar types of studies. We have 1.395 million, so just under $1.4 million in parks capital. 1.1 million of that is for Centennial Park. So that's really what's making up that number in the parks capital plan. And of course, of that, $600,000 is coming from the OSLAD grant. There's $58,000 proposed for sawmill improvements, and that includes the wheel, some new decking, and ADA improvements. There's $53,000 at the Aquatic Center for improvements. And there's $143,000 in police capital. You heard a more detailed report on this in the chief's presentation, where he discussed building improvements, really maintenance type items, replacing the stair tread, flooring, access control on certain areas and doors, carpet replacement, and things of that nature. And then the big one here in the capital plans, there's still a payment in fiscal year 2027. We're planning to spend $11.2 million for the completion of the new public works facility. So those are the major highlights of the capital fund. In terms of vehicle equipment replacement fund, there's a purchase of 1 Ford Explorer. There's 3 dump trucks for public works, 1 bucket truck, and a skid steer from 2013 that's due for replacement, and that totals $794,000. And then also, as you heard in the chief's presentation, when he went through his department, there's police equipment to be purchased. $175,000 is for the new tasers, or I should say replacement tasers. The other ones have reached end of life. And then computers for patrol cars at $27,600. So those were the big items that you will see in the vehicle equipment replacement fund. And then finally, water and sewer. There's $850,000 budgeted for the Raymond Water Tower painting. This was rebudgeted from last year. The SCADA system improvements at $325,000. The Mystic Cove lift station improvement is $750,000. And then at the wastewater treatment plant this year, Dennis and team will pursue a facility master plan, and that's $175,000 for a master plan. And then to replace a broken drain valve is $125,000. Usually things at the wastewater treatment plant get expensive pretty quickly. So in terms of water and sewer items, those are the largest expenses that you'll see in the water and sewer fund, capital fund. So those are the major highlights. Happy to go into more detail at whatever the board's pleasure, or staff is also here to answer questions.
Open the floor. Questions, anyone? Trustee Bluth, any questions? Trustee Neal, Trustee Martinez?
Well, I will say this, I concur with, my colleague, Scott Pierce, where I would like to see that 125,000 back in the Osmond Park. I know that, that is my neighborhood, so I do know that, I've got a good 50 kids that play in my neighborhood that would gladly utilize that park on a daily basis. But with that in mind, I would also vote present, with that direction. I would not entertain being part of the vote. The other thing that comes to mind as well is, as we talk about the 2028 forecast, is the 255,000 that we would be looking to invest in Jensen Park. I know that as I spend time with residents of Antioch, including those members of the Antioch Garden Club, we have talked about potentially trying to champion some form of community garden, because we missed the community gardens that were in Sequoia Park. We never replaced that. I also look at it that if we follow through with that initiative of possibly putting community gardens in Jensen Park, we would in actuality be saving ourselves upwards of 255,000, because we wouldn't be investing in new pickleball courts or basketball courts. That to me, I look at it as like that's a potential savings in the near future. But again, these are things where it's just like I bring it to attention of the community, but I choose to say that as I tell them, I'll champion these things for you, but I will not be the one making the decision for you. I would have to hear the public outcry saying they're supportive of those measures.
Could, I thought I drove by the park before I came here just to see it for, I hadn't seen it for a while, and I also haven't admittedly looked at the park master plan that we had done to see where all those things fell in line. And I would not be opposed to putting more money towards parks, and if that's the park it goes to, and if that's added back in as a contingency line item based on, there's $125,000 here for whether it's that park and it goes half there or half to Peterson or whatever. I don't mind having more money for parks. I didn't do my due diligence and look back at the master plan, so.
I can comment on that.
Oh, yeah.
So, and part of the thinking was just, we're doing Centennial this year, it's 1.1 million. So in terms of, are we improving parks? We are certainly, right? But Osmond Park is a heavily utilized park that what the master plan says, it does prioritize that park. The reason it's prioritized is because of its utilization. It's a pretty small footprint, of course, if you're familiar with it, but it's used by 150 campers or so, 5 days out of the week during the summer months. So for that reason, it's pretty highly prioritized in the master plan. So completing the park would be consistent with the master plan. And in this case, if it wasn't done now, it's not that it's never going to be done, it's being deferred. So it's a choice of do it today. The number was $125,000. If that wants to be added in the budget, it's the pleasure of the board. There's different ways we can structure that. Otherwise, you will see it in future capital plans in an out year. It very well could be just in 2028 or somewhere around there. Katie, one. Yes. Playground equipment.
Not satisfied the PUD in Aaron Harbor. That's called for a park for 30 years.
I just, Andrew, because I, again, with the
It's in the PUD.
Route 59 park
Yeah, but
that we acquired, I would like to see something happen there, whether there is a park acquisition fund of like $90,000 or something, that at least we start be looking at how do we get a path there? How do we get that built? Maybe that's a spot for community garden and a beach someday. I don't know, but I want us to really start
it'd be
focusing.
nice plant and you can get over to the other side.
Actually,
Because here's the problem. We'll finish up. We've got a couple ladies with the beach that we're all, and anybody in Aaron Harbor is allowed to use. We
Yeah.
figured that out years ago. We made the police department know about it. they're yelling at kids, shooting them out, screaming
By
at
the
'em.
town,
By the townhomes, we had for the previous.
I think we need to put that on an agenda sometime because I walk by that sign all the time and I don't know why
Yeah,
that.
but police department has told people, anybody in Heron Harbor can use that, and it was a big thing that it was in the courts. Well, you guys want to maintain it, that's fine, instead of giving it to the master.
I walk by
But
there, it could be
you
the
can't-
nicest park in town.
Yeah, you can't have people just screaming at little kids.
I do want to have something about, we acquired that property and start looking at, at least getting some design or what we're gonna do with it, especially at a minimum, a bike path so people can get to town on their bikes. And if Peterson Park is their park, be able to get to
In the
Peterson Park.
summertime, it's daily, you see kids walking 59 to
Well,
get there.
today,
They got the stoplights
well,
now.
today, thanks to Dennis, I did see some kids riding their bike across 173 at the stoplight. So it's like, hey, we got that piece, so let's get the rest of it done.
And it might require engineering,
Yeah.
out there as well. So the park acquisition funds can be used to reinvest into a park, create a new
It's
park.
been in the PUD for 30 years. Been waiting for. Heron Harbor was supposed to have a park. It's in the PUD.
The 125 that you took out for Osmond, where did that money go? I mean, if we're not spending it there, are we just putting that into reserves or
Yeah.
into capital reserves?
Yeah, essentially just goes into reserves,
So
exactly.
could we not put that 125 back into the budget and for determination later, if we're gonna proceed with that? Or is it easier to add it in later if we
Yeah,
decide
so-
down the road? Because I know that's been a park that a lot of people have reached out to me in the past about is Osmond and about how it's kind of crumbling away. There's really nothing there. So I mean, we're gonna need to do it eventually. So I'm just thinking if we're just like waiting a year to do it or something else, that's why I was asking where the money was going. So if it's there, it would be one of those that I would be more in favor of keeping that in the budget for that exact purpose to start it, because all of our parks need, and if we keep deferring and deferring and deferring, then nothing gets done.
And maybe we just have a line item called like Parks Master Plan Fund, so we start putting some money in that and using it. Yeah, yeah.
And just keeping it there for
Yeah.
the park so that we know it's there and then we can decide. And it might be to Jensen or it might be at the new park
Yeah.
at 59 or it
No, I
might
agree.
be somewhere, but if we keep throwing it away and
Yeah.
deferring everything, we're never gonna get.
I wouldn't mind that
everything done.
going back in there. And I will say one thing about the parking lot. I mean, yes, I like that idea because when we had the park master plan come to us and the prior director gave it to me, I said, this is great. Although you need to spread this out over like 20 years because it was like a 5-year plan. It was like $10 million. So I want us to follow that plan and not put it on the shelf. But I think, so I am in favor of adding that money in with just label it Parks Master Plan and let the Parks Board decide, hey, we're going to do this park this year.
Sure,
We're
it
going to
makes
do
the
that.
most sense for that money to be
Yes.
used. That would be great. Let the Parks Board decide, or we can, give them some ideas and they can pick, or however
Yeah,
they want to do it.
They could bring you a recommendation and then ultimately at that price, it has to come back to the board.
Right.
So we can talk to you before we go out to any bidding, before we do that, to say, this is the direction we're going. The park board's opined on it. We're planning to do Osmond or something else with it. And bring that recommendation to you. And then if that still sounds good, we'll go to bid and bring it back for an award. So, okay, we can
Yeah.
add that back in.
And I just want to just make a comment. Andrew took care of this portion already, but with the parking lots, yeah, the parking lots definitely. And again, I was for years said, oh, we got to fix this parking lot, Toft or the metro station, but the timing is just off with that TIF study and potentially using TIF money to do those parking lots. Ironically, I was at the breakfast on Friday and I unfortunately took 45 down there and I was in Vernon Hills on 45 stuck in traffic and I looked at their metro station. If you're ever down that way, they have a lot that's probably twice the size of our Toff lot that is completely cordoned off and dilapidated, to use one of Ed's favorite terms. It's a dilapidated lot that they've closed off because the ridership on that line is so down. And then they had a lot probably half the size of our lot that was only maybe 20%. So I'm sure Jose sees us all the way down the line. Like we have to think, what's this lot going to be like? It's great for when we have events, but it's not being utilized for ridership until they bring back the amount of trains. So I'm sure it's across the whole, this line.
Many communities have just barricaded portions of their lot where they don't salt, they don't shovel snow, they don't allow anything in portions of the lot. Again, is a cost savings measure, so maybe that's something we'll have to.
All right, well, and again, who knows what that lot will turn into, or that mall in the next, 5 or 10 years, but just something that I figured, well, Andrew figured that we just defer. So it wasn't anything else we were trying to take away from Public Works. I'm sure they have many other projects they could focus on this year.
We will have to do patching or some maintenance in Tom's parking lot and
Yeah.
other things. But
And then I think we do have an IGA, or before my time with Love and Oven. And so then their flickering light that's been flickering for 9 months. It drives me crazy. There are some potholes by their place where the trucks come that are like, again, like moon craters. So yeah, I know that's something we need to talk to them about. All right. Any questions from the board? So if not, then I guess we could probably call the roll to pass the budget. Do we have to amend the motion to put the 120, was it 125
yeah,
back in?
25,000 for Parks Master.
Do you want to amend the motion to put the
I will amend my original motion to add back in the 125,000 into a park master plan line item for the budget.
It is, all right. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mason? Luther?
Yes.
McNeil?
Yes.
Martinez?
Yes.
All right. 4 voting yes, motion carries. Budget is approved. So thank you. Congratulations. And now finance can start doing their audit next, right? Is that the next thing? All right. So thank you. Yep. Yeah, legal. Okay. So legal counsel informed me that that was the vote to approve the amendment. Now I need a motion, a second, to approve the full budget.
Motion to approve the full budget.
All right, motion trustee Bluthart as amended.
Second.
Trustee Martinez. All right, roll call, please.
Mason? Luther?
Yes.
McNeil?
Yeah.
Martinez?
Yes.
4 voting yes, motion carries. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Okay, to make one
Yeah,
comment
sure.
on the budget. So thank you, everybody. Thank you to the board, mayor, for your support, and got a lot of great work to accomplish. Thank you to staff, and particularly finance staff, for doing the heavy lift on the budget, but all the departments and your part. I just did want to note that something that's consistent with the budget that was just approved is related to credit card fees and credit card ordinance. So this week, staff did discover an inconsistency with utility billing related to credit card processing. So we were compelled to make a change earlier this week related to that. So we are absorbing the utility fees. We really had no choice in that. It came to our attention. We needed to correct that right away. So that's in place now. And again, consistent with the budget. And we will be bringing to you, possibly even at the next meeting, an amendment to the existing credit card fee ordinance to reflect that, as well as a couple other changes.
Thank you. All right, so our next meeting is in it's thrown off. This is a special meeting, but 2 weeks from tonight. We were gonna have a break, but
What is the date of that meeting?
14th, I believe. 13th.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm gonna be in St. Thomas.
Oh, okay, well. Yes, Zoom, yeah. All right, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion trustee McNeil, second trustee Bluthart, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, we are adjourned at 6:58 PM.